Dak's having a decent night so far. So
yeah, it's a crazy night. Oh, would you talk about your fantasy football team? We got Alabama, Georgia. The first thing everybody hears is Dak's having a decent night. We're like,
yeah.
Be professional. Get it together, Rod.
You're right.
All
You're right.
I'm giving you 20 seconds to get it together. All right. All right, Raj. We got a lot to get to. This is our. I told somebody earlier tonight we're gonna do a preview show, our last preview show for the game. We're gonna make picks and predictions. On Friday, I'm not listening to anyone's podcast. Anyone talk like I've had enough.
Yeah, but on Friday you might not listen to anybody else's podcast, but you're not going to avoid social media. People are still going to be giving their predictions until 6:30 p.m. Saturday night. You're going to hear it. If you go to Walmart to get some milk, someone's going to come up to you. Hey, aren't you heard from the Herb and Rodg podcast?
Don't even like milk. Don't have any cereal at the house.
Water? You like water?
Got plenty at the house already. I'm good.
All right, whatever. Anyway, you get the point. I've been trying to do the same thing. I've been trying to avoid everybody's. Stephen A. gave his prediction, and then of course Josh Payton. All the I'm just ready for the game. I can't take it anymore.
So hello to Kat. What's up, Kat? Roll Tide.
Thank you for joining us. One half of the Alpha Pool.
The Alpha Pools, yes. The other half of the Alpha Pools will probably have to go to sleep soon. So I don't think.
Yeah.
And to appreciate it. Go Dogs, man. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We are glad to have you here tonight, man. We appreciate you. Thanks.
And Timothy, we see you saying go Dogs, but if you like the show and you really, really like what you hear at the end, if you want to say Roll Tide, hey, we've got applications for you, man. We'll email them to you and we'll get them to you right away. Just let us know.
Losing our guests already. I can tell.
Sorry.
Let's get to the first. So we've got so much going on, Raj. People aren't even getting normal intros tonight that have been on the show. That's how bad it is. So this guest, everyone should know by this point, was voted, or we already know that, one of the top 5 most influential people in Georgia, and the man responsible for bringing Kirby Smart to the Bulldogs. Randy, sir, how are you doing tonight?
I'm trying not to laugh because I'm like, man, if that were only the truth. If that were only the truth.
You're not calling me a liar on my own show, right?
I would never. What are you talking about?
Oh. And Randy can't come without backup, right? So his first time on our show. So we have to do him proper. Raj, he was recently voted the greatest Joe of all time.
There's been a lot of great Joes.
He was great.
Don't forget about Joe Dirt. Well, don't forget about Joe Dirt. He was a great
That's
Joe.
what you went with. Okay, well, that's fine. He's leagues better than Joe Dirt. Yes. Okay. Kirby Smart has him in his speed dial. He's speed dial number 3. So 3. So how important he is. Okay. Yep, number 3.
That's pretty. Yes. He's up there.
Yeah. He runs a 4.140. You can believe that. Welcome to the stage, Joe. Sir, how are we doing, sir?
That's Joe Dierte, by the way. Dierte.
Yeah. And Carol, look, I don't do the voting.
No, it's Joe Show. It's Joe Show.
Yeah,
not Joe Dirt.
Namath, Montana. You ain't got nothing on me, baby. He said 4.140. He didn't say where the point was in there. He just said 4.140. Okay. Y'all keep it real.
Could have been 4 minutes, 4 hours, whatever.
You don't know.
We don't know. Hey, Kat, no offense to your brother. Okay. Second place is always available.
That's all right. There's always room. The lead dog, the view never changes if you ain't number 1, baby. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So your brother's number 1. I know what the view is. The view never changes.
What's up, guys? So it's you guys heard the intro. Are you in the same spot as I am? Are you wanting to ingest more? Like, where are you guys at as far as like, can we just play the game already?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have to listen to people ask me questions about, Randy's insightful knowledge of football all the time. And, they're like, so I hear this, how about the Dogs cast and all that stuff. And then we got Herb and Rodg, and people are always like, Roll Tide when they see me coming, because they know I listen to Herb and Rodg, and I just have to throw things at them. But I'm just tired of all the smack talk. I'm ready to watch some football. You know.
Yeah.
Randy, you're kind of more in the middle of it, though, huh?
Yeah.
I am. You can't get away from it. I think Rodg was right. Like it's so hard to get away from it. And as much as I want to get away from it, I think the piece I found in my own mind about the whole thing is that I have finally settled my position. And so now anybody else can say whatever in the world they want to say because I'm not influenced anymore. So it doesn't really matter if I run into something else, you know, or I hear a different opinion at this point. It's more like get your popcorn, everybody.
That's right.
Because it's going to be
game on.
Ain't
no more time to talk about it. Get your popcorn. Let's do this thing.
That's where I am too. I think I've heard every single analytical perspective for this game, and this person thinks this, and if this shows up, and whatever the case may be, let's just come on. Saturday at 6:30, I'm ready to sit down in front of this TV, watch the game, and then I'll be so happy once it's over with. So emotionally, I can kind of calm down a little bit. Say, okay, we got through that. We made it. So on to next week. So I'm ready. Cannot wait.
I said it last night on the pod. I just in a way it's torturous to have that bye week ahead of such a big game. Yeah. Because you just can eat yourself up if you allow yourself to wonder, you know, and think about it that much. That's why I'm thankful sometimes, or on weeks like that, I'm thankful that I have, you know, my girls or whatever to distract me, because then I'm like, I'm going to go do something else. So I don't have to think about it so much.
I know you just got to eat it up. I like the reference there. Eat yourself up. I am wearing a popcorn costume, and I just want to see if we can make it through the whole show without me taking off the popcorn hat.
You gotta leave that on, man. You gotta leave that on.
It's gotta stay on. It's gotta stay on.
I don't know. That's new. I don't think I've seen that before.
I saved that just for tonight's show.
Where did you get that from?
I can't see.
I mean, you don't.
Secrets.
Hey, you cannot give away. Yeah, a magician never reveals his tricks, Ron.
Okay.
But so Randy, I have something special for you. Something you actually asked for. Yeah. Now, hold on now, Randy. The last surprise I surprised you with was pretty good, right?
It's pretty doggone good. That's right.
Okay. So we should be on a good frame here. So my uncle is actually going to join us tonight on the show. Unc, in his special chair where he views all the games and reports on everything. Uncle.
Hey, Randy.
Smith.
What's going on?
Has popped in.
It is good to see you, Steven. It's only what? About 1,000 miles or so since the last time I saw you? Something like that.
1,000 miles or so, yeah.
Yeah, it took us a minute, but it's good to see you, man. I'm happy you're on here.
Absolutely. I mean, this is such an exciting football game that we're about to see, guys. I mean, you got everybody. Tuscaloosa is going to be a madhouse. It's going to be an absolute madhouse.
Yeah. So this is specifically for, by the way, you've broken the show. A few minutes in, so we're good. And I think I saw what Tennille came in there. Hey, what's up? How are we doing?
Appreciate you for joining us.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining in.
Steven, and before we continue, how's the chair doing? You know, we got to check on the chair. How's Don doing?
You know, Don is doing great. We're still, working the logistics out of having Don and I on the sideline right next to Nick Sheridan, and now I have the headset on. And if Nick Sheridan calls a play, I get to veto the play and call what I want to call. So we're having Don and I on the sideline with the headset on, so I can redirect all the green dot players.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And with that, a meme was born. All we need is somebody snap a pic of Steven sitting in the chair when nobody's looking. And then we got ourselves a meme, fellas.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag. Who is that guy?
Who is that
guy? So Joe, we've heard from a lot of the other guys already. So we wanted to definitely start with you. How are you feeling? And we'll say for both of them, how are you feeling about both teams coming out of the bye?
Well, we got a little bit of this, earlier on the SEC Powers Hour, and here's what I'm thinking. I'll start at the top with Kirby Smart, and what we're going to see in a difference in this ball game, and what I think is, Saban being gone, Kirby being the master motivator that he is, learning from Saban. I think one of the things that you're going to see in this game is the head play. I'll say it that way, that Georgia is going to bring into this contest. And I think that you're going to see trickery that's going to put your boy Milroe to the test, and the defensive backfield, the coverages that he's going to be able to disguise and be able to, Milroe is going to have his hands full. So I think that you're going to see Kirby is going to be a master motivator in this week. I think that DeBoer is going to have his hands full to match that, and the end game strategic moves that Kirby will be able to play with, and then having a full week of preparation going into this game is going to be, masterful to watch. I think so. It's going to be really, really interesting to watch from that perspective. And then, as you get into the game, Randy and I talked about it earlier, I think you're going to have a lot of the trenches is where the game's going to be won and where it's going to matter most. But I think because, the linebackers there you got in Alabama, they're going to have a big game. If Alabama has a big game, it'll be because of those linebackers, Campbell and Lawson there have to play really well. If they could stay clean, then Georgia's going to have a tough day. If they can't stay clean, then, Georgia's going to be Carson Beck could have a big day. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I think just out of the gate.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, that was good. That was good. And Randy, off the heels of that, you're feeling a little bit better than you did a week ago.
I am, but it's like I said, it's because I essentially boil the thing down to the very essence of what the game is and what it has to be. Because when you come to a game like this and you have talent that is essentially even, I mean, we could split hairs, but it's essentially a level playing field. Then the game's going to come down to all the basics, the boring stuff, the blocking, tackling, the don't beat yourself, don't turn the ball over. And if all that stays level, then it is what football should be at its very essence, which is who's going to be more violent, who is going to whip the guy lined up across from them more times over 4 quarters. That's the person, that's the team that's going to win the game. And once I got my head around that's the way Georgia has to approach this game, because I said it on my podcast last night. Yeah, this is a big game because it's Alabama. It's a big game because Georgia's in it. But coming off of the way they played against Kentucky, then having to stew on that for a bye week, it really doesn't matter that it's Alabama, right? Whoever lines up across from Georgia this Saturday night is going to get everything that them Bulldogs got. They're going to get all that pushed back, frustration, all those things. So the key is going to be able to embrace the emotion and not be emotional and just whip that guy that's across from you for 4 quarters. And if the Dogs do that, they win.
Stephen M., you want to follow up on that point from the Alabama perspective?
I'll say this before I get into kind of the biggest point. I think an aspect that a lot of people are glossing over here, special teams is going to play a role in this game. Both programs have sniper punters. Both guys have punters that are averaging 50 yards a kick. That's going to play a role. Who can constantly have the opposition in the worst field position possible, but then create good field position for itself? Both punters are going to play a massive role in this football game. Now, I think for Alabama, it comes down to both coordinators. They have to earn that check. Kane Womack, Nick Sheridan, they got to earn that paycheck. Nick Sheridan, you're going up against 4 defensive generals. When you look at Kirby, Schumann, T-Rob, and I know Muschamp's a defensive analyst, but forget that. He a general. So you're going up against 4 of those dudes. He has to have a master class on offensive coaching performance in terms of the creativity, offsetting Georgia's defense, getting Georgia's eyes on discipline, creating for all the weapons on the field. And then for Kane Womack, don't get too cute with this defense. Be able to pressure when you need to. But when it's time to go man on man, because Georgia's going to run the football, maintain your gap assignment. So I think for Alabama, it's going to be on both coordinators, but I think special teams underneath is going to play a massive role.
See, that's why Steven's my man right there, because I'm with him on that special teams play. Now, for real, I mean, Georgia is the only team quite possibly in recent history. So I haven't found another team that went through the entire year last year and didn't allow a single yard in the punt return game. Not one. And then this year, you look at the fact that, like he said, Brett Thorson's doing a great job in the punting game. Peyton Woodring is essentially automatic. And I know that people like, don't jinx the dude, but I'm telling you, that cat's money. So if the Dogs can get any kind of play out of the return game, then Steven's exactly right. You flip the field, you play strong defense, you force them to drive the football, and the more times you have to make a team do that, the more prone they are to make a mistake, especially in a big game environment like this. Fantastic athletes across the line.
Agree. Let's get a couple comments and then something I seem to always forget, so I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way before my old age kicks in. So Azina said she's nervous with Kentucky also. So Randy said, Randy, you echo me. I'm nervous before every game until something gets going. Even Wisconsin, I was like, we're going to handle Wisconsin. I was super nervous.
Yeah, but this is a different type of nervous because of the team that we're playing as opposed to the previous 3 weeks. To your point, I'm nervous every game because you want your players to play well, you want them to stay healthy, etc. But this is just a different type of animal that's coming to Tuscaloosa Saturday night. So that's a different type of nerve, and plus the fact that we've had a bye week to kind of think about it every single day, 24/7. So it's a lot of emotions going into this game.
Yeah. I remember thinking the bye week was good, and now I hate it. Go ahead.
The only reason, guys, I'm not as nervous is the fact that we got the new thing they're doing in college football now, give you the injury report before the game. And to have Quay Russaw and Malachi Moore both able to go for Alabama. Jeremiah Alexander will play the first game this season for him. That takes a little bit of nerve off me. Now, if Russaw was not able to go, then I would be sweating bullets here in this chair. But the fact that you do have Russaw, Malachi Moore will go, Jeremiah Alexander will get some spot play as well. So it takes a bit of the nerve off me.
Yeah, well, speaking of that injury report, Kirby plays it real cagey. And so you can look at who the Dogs have on that report, but he still doesn't make you fully believe that Michael Williams is going to be able to go. I'm pretty confident Princeton's going to go. Williams, I'm not sure about. Hall, I don't expect to see. We knew Robinson was out. The fact that Jacoby White jumped on there today was a little bit of a surprise, especially given that they were already down London Humphreys at wide receiver. Now, those two dudes are role players, but they're both quality receivers, right? And I don't know what the game plan is, but obviously you want all the healthy bodies you can have. So I hated to see him pop on there today. But we know Ratledge is out. We know Roderick Robinson's out. So there are some guys that aren't going to be there. I just have to hope that the guys that are going to be there are going to be able to do enough, right, carry their weight in this game, even if it's situationally.
I'm just going to say this, Randy. If Michael Williams wakes up breathing Saturday, that guy's going to play.
I know he wants to.
Like if that dude wakes up Saturday morning breathing, he gonna call Kirby, Coach. I can go. I woke up. Let's go. I can get in here.
I want to see Captain Chaos on the field. There's no doubt.
Yep. All right, I gotta throw this one in because it's somebody I work with, Ricky, and Ricky also wanted to make an appearance on here as well. So we'll give him his quick due. I give Ricky such a hard time. Like Raj knows, like being around me is a tough gig. So working with me is even worse at times.
It couldn't be that bad.
It can't be that great either, though. I feel like I tricked my wife into marrying me.
Roll Tide, baby, roll Tide. It's your boy Ricky Rose, Rick the Ruler, hollering at Herb and Rodg on the Herb and Rodg Podcast. Man, I want to give my prediction. Man, this weekend is going to be a tough one. But I got 28-17. 28-17 is my prediction. I don't think Ryan Hollywood is going to have a big game. I think Caleb Odom, Kendrick Law, if he's healthy, will have a big game. And defense go ball out, man. Roll Tide. Pull us through, baby.
There you go.
Kendrick Law is healthy, by the way. He's fine.
Him on the list, and we've been talking about him all week, so we definitely need him to show
up. Now the one that was not healthy was Cole Adams, but Cole is fine now, so he will play. Okay. But it'll be interesting though. Will they put him back out there on punt return Saturday, despite how comfortable Jalen Mbakwe has gotten in that role? So do you allow the freshman to keep growing in there? Or do you put Cole Adams back in that spot where Cole was starting to pop a little bit prior to the injury? So it's going to be very intriguing to see how DeBoer manipulates that.
Yeah. I don't need any changes right before this. So let me catch up, roll tide up. Carla, good to have you in here. It's nice to see some more Alabama folks. We got overwhelmed by the Georgia last
I don't know
week,
where all those Georgia fans came from last week. It was just
from Randy. Randy said, hey. I think he hit speed dial 1 and it gets everybody. So
Randy sent out the bat signal and they all showed up.
That's right. The dog signal, and they're in here tonight too. We rolling deep.
All right, something that I forgot last week that I got to get in here thanks to Big Mike. So forgot it on our show. We're definitely going to play it here. Big Mike's fun fact of the week.
What's up, everybody? It's Big Mike back again with this week's edition of Bama Opponents Fun Fact. This week's opponent, the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Today, we're going to take a look at the age-old question of which G came first, the Packers or the Dogs. And surprisingly, the answer is not quite as easy as you may think. While both teams had a G as their logo in 1961, the Georgia logo was more of a block style, while the Packers had a traditional oval. In 1964, when Coach Vince Dooley had the uniforms redesigned, they adopted a similar oval G logo to go with them. While the logos are different in size and colors, Coach Dooley still asked the Packers organization and was granted permission to use the logo going forward. And that is today's Bama Opponent Fun Fact. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. We appreciate you, Mike. We appreciate you. And I have to give a shout out. Thank you to the wife.
He needs to do like a sports history class.
I agree. I agree. So it's a little unbalanced right now on the show. I'm feeling kind of bad. So I'm going to call in one of Kirby Smart's most trusted advisors, the guy that he watches film with every Sunday after the game. Coach Hayes, he'll even us up a little bit there. So
look at that. Look at that.
What's up?
What's up? What's up, gentlemen?
Thank you for joining us again.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Looks like we're having a little fun. Joe, what in the world are you got on? you gotta explain this.
Hey, baby, it's a show. We had to bring the popcorn, Everybody get ready. Let's do this thing.
That's good stuff.
They don't call me show for nothing, baby.
I love how Joe is just full on embracing the Lane Kiffin vibe.
Yeah. That's how I roll, man.
Listen, Steve, baby, Steven, if I'm telling you, man, it's been a stressful week and a half for me. And so I'm like, Joe, we got to loosen this thing up a little bit. So I knew Joe would come through for me.
Joe, have you worn that to a game yet?
No, but I will tell you a quick story since you asked a question not related.
Attaboy, Raj.
Yeah, how do I open the door? Randy actually was a University of Georgia grad, and I've never attended the University of Georgia at all, for anything other than an occasional sporting event. But Randy's, what was it, your junior year or senior year at the university there?
I think it was my senior year. Kirby Champ and Bobo, me and you. That's what it was.
That's right. So of course I'm hanging out down in the hedges around the old field there, and somehow I wound up in a full page display photo in the University of Georgia annual that year as a freshman, in Georgia, and my brother was nowhere to be found in his senior annual, but I was there full page right there in the hedges in Sanford Stadium. I don't know why I was in the hedges crawling over or out. I don't remember. There might have been some.
It's because you're so short.
Brown water blur.
So short.
But
hey,
I was in there and I was told Randy's like, look at that. I'm in the annual. Didn't go to school here, but it's
yep.
We made it.
Yep, that's right.
That's right.
There you go. So thanks for asking, Raj.
Hey, no problem.
Didn't know you were asking there, did you, Rod?
Yeah, didn't know.
So, Coach, the other guys kind of answered this, and we did talk about it a little on Tuesday night. But your kind of general feelings going into this game. I know I've been watching your breakdowns on tape. Obviously, they're awesome. Kind of your feelings now, after you've had another week to process in the bye week. Did the bye week help you at all, or were you ready to play last Saturday?
To answer your two questions there, really, I think the bye week was more for us, honestly. We had to fix a lot of things internally, I feel, from the standpoint of just fundamentals and knowing really who our go-to guys are going to be. Look who our alpha players are going to be, who's going to step up in the big show. And, because to me, what I get the feeling of, I heard y'all talking about a while ago, is that it's to a sense personal. There's so many things riding on this game other than just the win and the loss because of all the transitions that have happened over the last 3 years with these two teams. I've had a lot of respect watching film this past week, and we had the opportunity, I know, of course, due to the hurricane, we didn't have school today nor tomorrow, and I've had a chance to look in depth a lot more. And it's really been, I don't know, sort of sobering to see how well these two teams are balancing up together. And I really do think that it comes down to the line of scrimmage. I think the line of scrimmage is what's going to be the difference. And I'll say from this standpoint, because to me, Jalen Milroe being so dynamic on the offensive side of the ball, and we feel like our front 6 and 7 are going to be playing a lot of games with their front 5 and their 6 when they do max protect with their tight end. And it's going to be a matter of, can the offensive line contain our blitz packages against him? And then secondly, can we contain Jalen if we flush him? Because what's going to happen, I think, if they hold up in pass protection, they're going to stretch our defense. Our secondary hasn't really been pushed yet vertically, and we're going to have to win some 50-50 balls. So the way I look at it from that standpoint is it's going to be at the line of scrimmage. If we have more success in flushing him out of the pocket and making him have to think too quick or have to pull the ball down and run, and we keep him contained, I think that helps us in the long run. But if they pass pro very well and they keep up with blocking our 6, our 7-man pressure, and we get the 50-50 balls and we lose them, then it could be going the other way against us. So I think that's a big deal for us going into the game Saturday, is where and who wins the line of scrimmage going forward.
Well, Joe or Randy, do either one of you want to piggyback off that? Otherwise, I'm going to ask, I've got a question for Steven after that one.
Yeah, one of the most difficult things to do as a defensive lineman is to both transition from a run read into a pass rush. And then once you get into a pass rush, do it in a controlled manner when you're playing somebody that can hurt you with their legs. And that's what's going to have to happen here. So these guys, it's so hard. I know it doesn't seem hard to the person who's never tried to do it. It is incredibly difficult to try to do what I was talking about earlier, which is just straight up whip that dude in front of you, and then also split your attention and be able to react and sort of mesh rush the quarterback as a unit. You know what I mean? Like it is so difficult. And so I haven't given it much thought, but I did hear someone else mention it, that one of the things that Georgia, we could see them roll out this week, is because of what Coach just said about how Georgia's defensive secondary necessarily hasn't been stretched down the field. Maybe Alabama tries to do that. If they are going to give the utmost respect to Ryan Williams, maybe they play cloud coverage, keep everything in front of you, work on that mesh rush, try to squeeze the pocket on Milroe, and make him throw that intermediate pass that he's not the most comfortable guy doing. Then you can play games with him for real, disguise your coverages, get a tip ball here or there, maybe get a turnover that way. I don't know that that's what they're going to employ, but it is one of the options in the book. You know what I mean? And to Stephen M's point earlier about how you're dealing with 4 generals over there, that's spot on. And what's more than that, I think the thing that makes this defensive coaching staff so dangerous is the fact that they adjust so well in game. So they're going to go out with a plan. They're going to see how Alabama counters, and then they're going to adjust again. And that's where it comes back to Stephen M's point. Is Sheridan going to earn his money and then have an answer for the answer? You know, that's going to be the game inside the game. That's why it's so fascinating. right? Because it's the players on the field, but it's also the coaches off of the field. It's just going to be a fun game to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well
Is
said.
it going to be fun? Because I feel like I need a lot of Tums and stuff already.
There's going to be a lot of
clothes changes. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of clothes changes. So,
before I get to your question, Raj, I kind of want to not Raj, Herb, my bad. Before I get to answer that question,
that hurt me, but that's fine.
No, it's okay, man. Hey, I love you too, man. But the thing is, also, guys, which team, more importantly, which quarterback handles the noise, the atmosphere? You're playing on Saban Field. Here comes Kirby Smart, who for 9 years learned from Coach Saban, and every coach on Smart's defense learned from Coach Saban. And you're going to come into a packed environment. It's going to be a sellout crowd at night. Those fans are going to be absolutely deafening. When you take that field, which team will the utmost noise not affect as much once this thing settles?
Randy, I'll jump on that to start with here. Let me tell you, I hands down absolutely think that Carson Beck is going to handle that environment better than Milroe will. And the reason why I think that goes back to what you just said. Now it's Saban Field. It's not Saban on the field. And I think that poise and that demeanor at the top right there is going to be something that's going to be noticeably missing from the University of Alabama in a big game like this. I really do. And I think Kirby being as honed in as he is, and he is that understudy of Saban for many years, he's going to come in there and be in control and set that tone, and that's going to be something you see on the sideline that Alabama just doesn't have anymore because Saban's not there. I think Carson Beck will handle that and feed off his coach and do better.
I'm with Joe. I think Carson's going to handle it because the one thing we know about Carson is that dude doesn't get ruffled. Like, and I don't mean he doesn't get shaken in the pocket. He's like any other quarterback. If you get after him, you can mess him up, right? You can mess up his footwork. You can speed up his clock, all that. I'm just saying his general personality is one that he is geared to not get shaken emotionally in that way. So I do, maybe more so than Joe, I give Kalen DeBoer credit for being a level-headed dude who can manage his players. But I just think, especially if you're asking the question of Milroe or Beck, I would go with Beck too, but I just think it's because of what we know as Bulldog fans about Carson Beck and his demeanor overall. So that's the reason I would give him the edge.
Yeah. And I tend to agree. Alabama doesn't always, especially with Milroe, doesn't always seem to start off well in games. And I just feel like Beck is kind of more of a steadying influence. So, but you do kind of lead me into what I was going to ask you, Stephen. What do you think this game kind of means for, like, you know, the legacies of a Milroe and then the start of a legacy for Kalen DeBoer?
Well, and I mentioned this, guys, on my show and also at the Bama Standard as well. For Kalen DeBoer, this would mean the reassurance of Alabama fans, right? You can let Alabama fans know 17,000 times that you were the right hire. They want 17,001. And that 17,001 comes Saturday. With over 100,000 people packed into that sucker, they're gonna want to leave this game going. Got the movie Waiting to Exhale. Greg Byrne, hot dog, you did it. You made the right hire. Kalen DeBoer, welcome, coach. You were the right guy. That's the reassurance from Kalen DeBoer's end. In terms of Jalen Milroe, what this game does for his legacy, number one, it would show his growth as a player, his growth as a quarterback. This would put him early in the Heisman Trophy conversation. You got to feel like that as well. We know a lot of people talk about Shadur Sanders, among others, but this would give Jalen Milroe a nod in the Heisman conversation. And also, people, you're going to have 17 to 20 NFL teams at this game. Of course, I'll be there as well. So this creates Milroe, hey, I can elevate my draft stock here. I got 17 to 20 NFL executives documenting me, evaluating me right now. I got a chance to, hey, earn this check a little bit early here. So that's what that also means for Milroe.
It's a lot of pressure.
What's going to make you more nervous, though? The NFL scouts or you being there?
I say the scouts, man. He ain't nervous. He may be nervous of Dunn in the chair, but he ain't nervous.
Raj, did you have one, or did you want me to?
No. I just feel like this game is going to be very, very impactful for DeBoer's career, because this is going to be the game. If the unfortunate incident, if we actually lost the game, this would be the game where a lot of Alabama fans would come out and criticize him and say, "Oh, I knew he wasn't ready. I knew this was going to happen," etc. So. And I'm pretty sure there's some people out there that might think that anyway. So this is going to be that one game that you look back on his coaching career at the University of Alabama, where he's going to be heavily judged. So it's another reason we obviously need a huge win. And to Steven's point, as far as the people that are going to be at the game, another name that I mentioned, I think last Thursday night was there's a gentleman by the name of Justice Terry. I still can't get his phone number, can't reach him on social media. I don't know what it is. He won't respond to my calls. But he's going to be at the game along with Keelan Russell. And, if Justice Terry wants to come on, obviously he's from Georgia, but if he wants to come over and enjoy things,
you're going to get us jumped by all the Georgia guys.
I know. That's fine. That's why I'm in Texas right now. I'm staying back. But
so you put those Alabama guys out there?
Yeah. But even if it's just Justin Terry, but the rest of the recruits that are going to be there as well, I want them to enjoy that environment. I want them to see some good, solid football from both teams. And, of course, we want Alabama to win.
And it's going to be more Raj. Justice Terry will be there, but you got Justice Terry, Keelan Russell, Trent Seaborn, the quarterback from Thompson High School, is going to be there.
Okay.
Now, I think it's going to be 100 recruits.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 100 recruits here at this game. And the one thing these recruits want to know is Alabama still Alabama?
Yeah.
That's the main reason why they haven't committed yet. They haven't made their move yet. Is they want to feel like, is Alabama still Alabama? And this game's the measuring point, because Bama goes out there, plays ball. Those recruits are going to feel that way. Okay, DeBoer's the guy. I got to go here. If it's a loss, then those recruits feel like, he ain't Saban. What am I going to do? Hey, Mom, help me out here. And they're going to go elsewhere. So this game has a lot weighing on it.
Yeah.
To follow up on Steven's point there, I know you're trying to move on, Herb, here, but
you're good.
What he's saying is a fact. I mean, when I talk to people who know this stuff, I don't track them down, but the people who do, they will readily tell you that on the recruiting trail these days, what they hear from recruits is Georgia is where it's at. Georgia is the dream offer. Georgia is what Alabama used to be. Not my words, their words. So Steven's exactly right. If Kalen Moore gets a big win, it's one more feather in his cap to go out on the recruiting trail, right? It cannot hurt you. And that's just part of the big storm hurricane of stuff that's swirling around this game that indirectly has everything to do with the game, right? Nothing on the field, but there are going to be ramifications however it goes.
Right. And no, Randy, you're never jumping in. It's I've never balanced a 6-man group. So anybody has a point, you need to jump in. Like, I appreciate it. And guys, look, I have utmost respect for everybody on here, man. Anybody has something to say, you jump right in and we're good to go. I'm going to get you caught up on a couple comments real quick, because I know everybody's been out there supporting. Definitely stay safe. I thought it was an important one to go ahead and put out there, man. Please, everybody be safe out there tonight. So, Randy, another one of the crew.
Hold on. Speaking of that, what exactly is the forecast? Is there supposed to, y'all supposed to get a little rain in T-Town? I know we're, of course, West Alabama, so I don't.
It's not. I actually checked it, Raj. It's not supposed to rain Saturday.
Okay.
Not Saturday, right? Yeah, okay. It's going to be, but here, like the way the track has shifted between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. tonight, like in the morning. We're going to be right in the gun barrel. So gotcha. I'm not sure if we're going to be on the dirty side of the main circulation, or if it's going to be just a little bit to our east or west, but we're going to get a lot of rain up this way, looking at the possibility of flooding and stuff like that, and some high winds. So yeah, y'all stay safe, man.
You too. Y'all too.
It's a good thing how, these school systems have done a much better job, closing these schools and a better understanding of when the weather's going to be bad, go ahead and shut the schools down. So very proud of the school system for getting on top of that.
Yep, I agree. Mike, this is back to yours. And we'll put Mike up here real quick because he gave one, right?
What's up, everybody? Big Mike here for my prediction to the Alabama-Georgia game. I can't go against Bama. Roll Tide. Alabama 35, Georgia 24. Let's go get them, boys. Roll Tide, roll.
Sorry, Randy. I think you're about to say something right before that came up.
Nope. That had the stage. That's all good. I'm sitting here. I'm just thinking about all the different ways we could talk about this game, honestly. Because Coach sort of tapped on it for me earlier. He used the word that I used last night, which is, Georgia has to figure out who Georgia is. They have to figure out who that dude is, that when you got to have it, he's going to go get it for you. Who's your Todd Gurley, right? Who's your Brock Bowers? Who's that dude right now? And they may break out. This could be the game. And I say that because what is the number? 9 of Alabama's 12 defensive backs are brand new, right? They're freshmen or transfers, right? So there's a vulnerability back there. This could be the night where we see somebody emerge as the go-to playmaker. Could it be Dom Lovett? Could it be Dylan Bell? Dogs have got to figure it out. And then I think that's just one of several key matchups in this game.
Yep. Now, Coach, you were talking about that a little bit on Tuesday night. Do you want to kind of piggyback on that with the matchups? And then the question we were going to say, Richie, is what does this game specifically mean for Carson Beck? And how does he elevate it if you're trying to look for that, that key guy?
Well, I'm looking at the fact of, to even preface that question, I see something that makes dog fans kind of squirmish around in their chair a little bit. Is would we be talking about them the way they are if we beat Kentucky, say the same score we beat Clemson? If we went out there and, kind of took care of business and had control of the game going into the off week, beat a Kentucky Wildcat team in Lexington 30-7 or something like that, would we be talking about them the same way? Would Alabama fans be talking about Georgia the same way? And, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, from what Randy just said, the identity of our team, to me, has to be met, honestly, on Saturday. And it's because of who we're playing, because there's a lot of things. We're exercising a lot of demons on both sides. I hear you guys talking about what it means for Kalen DeBoer, what it means for Jalen Milroe, but it also is the same thing, what it means to Kirby Smart, what it means to our guys. I think that's why this game is so huge, because there's so many different facets that we're trying to see happen and basically materialize in front of our eyes than just the win and the loss of the game. Going back to what was said a while ago about Kalen DeBoer and sort of his legacy being started. Honestly, whether he loses or Kirby Smart loses, I don't think that's going to be the determinant. I want to say that as a human being, just thinking at it rationally, that the fan base has to be a little bit more patient with Kalen DeBoer, even if he loses to Georgia.
That's what we're known for, though.
You're right. But yet, still on the other side, on the flip side of that, Kirby has been looking to beat Alabama, and he's done it, like I said, the one time. And it comes down to the fact of, can he actually bring this team up to the right place at the right time in order to overcome Alabama? Not just Nick Saban. It has everything to do with the program we're playing across, because it's personal. There's a lot of personal feelings between these two teams now, and there's a lot of things that have been said. So to me, there's just a lot of crossroads that we're going to see answered, honestly, on Saturday from both sides of the net. So I think Carson Beck, first off, is going to be unchained. I really think you're going to see a different Carson Beck come out of the gate. Honestly, I hope that they're looking to do something with him from the RPO game. There's ways for us to check, because Stetson had the ability to pull on zone and had the ability to run with his legs and extend drives and extend plays with his legs. Carson really, he's done it a few times, but honestly, I would rather him not do it for the purpose of him, because he looks very uncoordinated when he does it, honestly, to tell you the truth. I wish he had the ability to stay in the pocket, but what you do with that, if you have a quarterback that can't run necessarily, or is not somebody that they're worried about with their legs, and you got guys coming off the ball and just tackling the zone back every time because they know Carson won't pull it, that we're looking at him advancing watching and doing a lot of check with me at the line of scrimmage, that we are looking to set up RPOs off of that with slants, option routes, things of that nature. And going back to what you said with the defensive backfield, watching film, to me, who we need to target is, even though I know he's a Xavier Brown, number 2, I think he's a freshman cornerback. I know he's a high-touted cornerback, but I think we need to, just like Julio Humphreys, I think it's the same thing on our side. I think they need to be challenged, and that's something I'm going to be excited to see on both sides of the ball, to see if we actually get those matchups. Also, too, I think it's 8. He plays the Husky position, like our star, Devontae Smith. I want to see how he matches up with our number 2 receivers, whether it's Anthony Evans, whether it's Dominic Lovett, as Randy mentioned a while ago, and see those key matchups, see who can excel from those. And, to me, that's going to be the difference of the ball game, because as I said, the line of scrimmage is a big deal. But if they get those throws and they have the ability to get those matchups, who's going to win those 50-50 balls? Are we going to have athletes that can separate from their DBs and make catches? Are we going to get to Jalen Milroe so that he doesn't have time to throw those 50-50 balls up to like a Ryan Williams or, with Kendrick Law? I want to see those things take place. And honestly, to me, there can't be this restriction of the playbook anymore. We have got to go out and unload everything that we can with a great game plan against Bama, because there's so many things riding on it.
I look at this, Coach. I look at this, and I look at this from Mike Bobo's perspective too. Todd Monken brought a lot of creativity to Georgia before going to the NFL. What that guy did for Stetson Bennett, Brock Bowers, and that offense was unbelievable. But for Georgia fans, we brought back Mike Bobo. We know in the past he was a very much so conservative. What does he open up now in this game? This is a game for him to feel like, how creative could he be? How sort of out the box could he be in this matchup for Georgia?
So
go ahead, Ray.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I just want to offer a little insight there on the Bobo perception, right? Because what we know about Mike Bobo is he has a history of whoever his best player is, that's the way he calls the game. When he had Nick Chubb and Todd Gurley and Sony Michel and Keith Marshall and those cats, they ran the ball first. When he had Aaron Murray, he let Aaron throw it more than any quarterback in SEC history, right? So he's going to utilize, he has a history of showing us he's going to utilize whoever his talent is. And that's the point right now, I think, is that he knows that he has Carson Beck. They know what Carson is. And it's like Joe was talking about earlier tonight, and he might want to pipe up here. The thing about Carson Beck is if you're touted as this draft pick kind of guy, this prototype for the NFL, then you have to make NFL plays. You have to stick the ball in NFL windows. And that goes right to what Coach was just saying. You have to climb the pocket. I don't worry much about him running. I want to see him move in the pocket the way I know he can, deliver the football the way I know he can, and they have to sort out who that guy is. And I'm not sure why they don't know yet. I'm not sure if it's injuries, it's suspensions. Maybe they think it's one of the running backs, but they just haven't gotten it on track yet. And if they know who the wide receiver is, let's work on getting him the ball. Show us Saturday. To Coach's point, they have to. If they don't, Alabama's going to rout them here. That's the way it's going to go.
Well, this is what I'll say to your point here, Randy, and I'm actually going to speak to what Josh was mentioning in the chat here. He said what matchups you are really looking forward to most. And Randy and I talked about this earlier in our SEC Powers Hour, but I
can't help but smile when Joe's talking. I'm sorry.
I've been sitting on my kernels over here, Herb, and I'm ready to pop, man. But
that's it.
We've been talking about linebacker play and defensive play, and Georgia's wanting to establish the run and all these things we've seen Bobo do with the play call. And here's what I actually think you're going to see happen from Georgia's offense Saturday. You're going to see a name that nobody's mentioned so far, and that's going to be Oscar Delp, who's going to have a lot to do with the early part of this game, because you're going to see Alabama's going to want to come up, play that front box. They're going to want to fill gaps. You're going to see the RPO You're going to see Delp in the play action receiving game there. We're going to make those defensive backs start to come into that middle of the field. And then you're going to see Carson late in the game start to get those wide, longer, deeper shots. But we are going to throw first and then look to run to kind of get that linebacker core on their heels a bit. The other thing that I think you're going to see is going to be interesting that Coach was just talking to is because we're going to get Delp in there, we're going to get some of that linebacker play to turn their eyes and watch that tight end. You're going to see Carson get to the edge a little bit. Very simple here. He's going to RPO. We're going to get Delp involved. You're going to see Carson get to the edge. And as you get those corners and all those people looking to the inside, that's when you're going to see Carson get the ball down the field and throw into those windows. On the other side, one of the things that Randy mentioned early in this conversation was maybe we come out with that kind of cloud coverage, get, everything in front of us, something that I don't think anybody's talking about for Georgia's defense. We talked about the trench game. We talked about the linebackers playing well. But let me tell you, some of the best tackling corners I've seen in college football since the season started is University of Georgia cornerbacks back there. Those boys will come up, deliver a shot, and make a tackle. That's going to be Milroe's biggest concern in the game Saturday is we're going to keep coverage and, keep those receivers in front of us. And you're going to see those cornerbacks come up and be in Milroe's face all day long. I think you're going to see more of that than people are talking about right now. And I think that's going to be the tenor of the game for Georgia and for Alabama offensively and defensively.
Can I get a one time for a play action on first down? Can I get a round of applause for a play action on first down? Let's do that once or twice in the game. That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, Herb, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
One play that I've been.
Oh my gosh!
Hold on! Don't do that to me! Don't do that to me. Every year I mention this one play that I want to see Alabama run, and I've never seen us do it. Herb, are we going to see a flea flicker this Saturday?
No.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Randy, when he says that he's been calling for it for years. No, when under the Saban era, it was easy. The answer was always no.
Yeah, I knew that.
No.
I really thought it would be prominent, and I really thought we would see it happen during the Tua era, but it just never happened.
I just don't think this is the game that you busted out when you've never.
No.
I just see the flip going back to him, going through his legs. Game changer. Like, I just don't know that you do.
I don't know if their defense is going to give us enough time to actually run that full play. So it'll get blown up so fast. So,
but Stephen M had to jump off there, guys. Okay. Just want to say appreciate him jumping in there. One of Rodg's friends also had some words.
What's up, fellas? Is it Saturday yet? Can't wait for game day. I got Bama on Saturday, 35-21. That's my prediction. I think Georgia's defense is not strong enough. I think their offense is not very powerful, and I think the crowd will help. I love being an underdog at home. Roll Tide, baby.
Look at that!
I wish it would.
Did you say that was one of Rodg's friends there?
Yes.
Right, Rodg. Why is your friend that's doing a video on the show? Why is he talking like this? What is he talking about?
That's just how he carries himself.
Is that the enthusiasm of Alabama fans? I'm just going to.
No, you're wearing a popcorn.
That's how worn are we out after a week and a half. We're like, we just get to Saturday.
Butter my biscuits over here, man. I'm ready for you.
Gosh. I met Gabe when he first moved to Tuscaloosa in 1995. We played soccer together in high school. We played intramural soccer at University of Alabama. Graduated.
I saw that soccer ball up there.
Yep. And he now lives in Austin. He works. He has a job, really good job with UT. So he lives in Austin. So I joke with him all the time. Who are you going for this Saturday? He's like, I'm always going to be a Bama guy, but Texas pays the bills. So that's just how they go. But
much love to my man. I just thought it was funny. He's like,
when he sent me the video, I was like, okay, cool. But no. Dave is a good friend. So.
I'm uncomfortable with how comfortable everybody seems to be with this being a 10-point game, like 10, 12-point game. Like, people are way more confident than I am.
We had one of the guys in the chat say it was going to be Georgia 42-14. I just kind of laughed at that one. Now, if that was actually happening, all hell would break loose in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they'd have to fire DeBoer at halftime, but I don't think so at all, Randy. As much as I wish that I could be relaxed in the fourth quarter, I feel like in the fourth quarter, I'll still be on my 7th wardrobe change. And a whole bottle of whatever Raj picks for me to drink will be gone, and I already
sent you the selection. I
will be sweating bullets. So no.
So I have a question here. So Joe just told us who he thought we might see pop up that maybe we haven't seen a lot from. And that's Oscar Delp, and that's actually a really good call. I mean, because who makes you more comfortable as a quarterback than your tight end, right? So that could be a really good call on Joe's part. Or plug in Lawson Lucky, whoever, that tight end position right there. But I am curious who coach might think would be the person that we haven't seen that maybe is really going to show us something. And we assume they can play, right? They have talent. But who do you think they might scheme open? And I think that's what it would be with Delp, is you would scheme him open and hit him down the seam or something like that. And that's why the loss of Sokovie White, that was a name that I thought we might have heard more from by now. And now he's questionable for the game. So that one kind of caught me by surprise. But who are you thinking about?
Randy, that's a great question. I'm going to kind of there's two people, but they kind of piggyback off one another. Something that we've seen with our successes over the last few years with Monken and obviously Bobo taking over is having a successful running back that can also pass catch out of the backfield. Trevor Etienne does that for us. And I think that's something that he's going to help us with in this ball game, not just with his legs, but I think catching the ball out of the backfield and extending plays, extending drives with that. From the other part, as I told you a while ago, I really do think we should isolate 3x1 sets, which is just trips, and get Colby Young by himself with number 2 on the backside. And we back shoulder a lot. We run a lot of 2-man game basically on that side, where you're looking at an RPO versus a run off of that. So you get to when you're say we're on the right hash and we got the white side of the field to the left side. So you run the trips into the boundary, you put the single receiver on the wide side, and you have some type of run RPO off of that. So you can run into the boundary, you could run to the single receiver side, but you also, based off what they're giving us, can be able to pull the ball and be able to throw a 2-man game with Colby Young out on the edge 1-on-1 with a Young. It'd be like, because the way I look at it is kind of like if we had Ellis Robinson out there as a corner. Excellent talent, elite talent, but young. And that's kind of what I see in this kid too. Very, very talented young man, but, just hasn't been in the limelight long enough. He's still green behind the ear when it comes to the cerebral part of the game. And he's being isolated by a 6'5" kid who we've shown that can run the back shoulder fades and things of that nature. So answering your question, Randy, I think it's going to come from a combo. I would love to see ETN with pass catching out of the backfield along with his run game, because we've got to establish a run game. And then, of course, the isolations on number 2 with Colby Young. I'd like to see Colby Young be someone that we get more involved in the game.
So essentially a little NBA clear out, 1-on-1, my guy versus your guy. And then you let Colby Young man this dude with his big body and just sort of take him to big boy SEC school. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. And what you end up doing with that, let's say the kid plays and balls out and he bats a 50-50 ball down, that lets them know, hey, he's come to play. We've got something we wanted to do. It's not necessarily been the best, execution we want there. We might go back to it. We might not, but you never know until you try it. So you're exactly right. That's what I want to be able to see, especially in situations where we need to extend drives. As well as I do. And I was about to ask you this question, Randy, is what you thought, because I really I'm just kind of baffled, because I don't feel like we have set an identity for our offense yet. And the Kentucky game made it even worse because of how poorly that game was played offensively. And then we had the bye week. So we've been sitting here for 2 weeks just kind of scratching our heads going, where are we offensively? And I think that's the reason why you see so many crossroads with Georgia fans right now. There's some of us that just think we're not any good and we're going to be, called out on Saturday and be proven to be the team that everybody's trying to make us be, or we have been really playing vanilla and conservative and we're going to just ball out on Saturday and be the team that, like you were talking about a while ago, be that team that we know we should be and what we have, basically hypothesized since the summer, So I'm very curious about your thoughts on that too, about our identity.
Well, it's puzzling, because you saw them perform well against a strong defense in Clemson. I mean, say what you will about the offense, but that defense is legit. And so to be able to step out there and perform the way they did in the second half, we saw well-schemed plays. We saw timely play calling, and then we saw the ball being spread all around. I think it was something like, I don't know, 10, 12 receivers caught a ball in that game.
Yeah.
That is what I thought the team was going to be over the course of the summer and the spring. It's not that you needed one guy to replace Brock Bowers. You needed like 6 dudes. And it's the fact that you could beat another team through 1,000 cuts as opposed to having one guy that was going to dominate the game. In order to do that, you have to let Carson be who we all thought he was going to be. You had to turn him loose and let him run the Corvette, right? Let him distribute the ball. Let him hit Dom. Let him hit Colby. Let him go to Dylan Bell, who I thought was going to be wide receiver 1 back in the spring. Like, you have to let him be that dude. If this is the game that they pull the tarp off and let him be that guy, as long as he can trust his line, right? And that brings me back to his footwork and all those sorts of things. If he will do what we want him to do, show us what we saw against Ole Miss, climb the ladder inside the pocket, shuffle, then deliver the ball down the field. If he does that, that's who Georgia is. And then you accentuate that with the run game, right? I just
now I want to give you something.
A follow-up question. Just one thing, Joe. One thing, and because the Georgia fans on here can help me. I don't remember whether or not we have actually completed and had a successful screen to a running back this season. Now, maybe I'm just not remembering. I know we've used the wide receivers a lot, tunnel screens, bubble screens, that kind of stuff. But a Georgia offense and a Mike Bobo offense has that screen game to the back and to the tight end in it. Are we going to see that this Saturday? If Alabama's getting after Carson Beck, is this the week we see the screen game really show up again to the back? I'm not sure.
What were we going to say, Joe?
I was just going to give you something else to consider here. And this is just a consideration, something that I've been talking about with some of my friends, off air. But think about what you were just referencing there, Coach and Randy. With Clemson, that was the opening game of the season, right? Georgia came in prepared. They showed you some, second and third year kind of strategies, offense where they could get the ball into a lot of players' hands and move, right? Now, just think how much further ahead Kirby Smart could be thinking as he was going back into this season and into Kentucky, which is a game that everybody, says is always a trap game or tough game to play. Do you not think that Kirby Smart is so witty that he would say, look, we're going to keep this vanilla. We're going to push this envelope of just doing the simple things to get better at that, and then let that chip form, knowing that he had a week off to prepare for Alabama, to let that chip form where he has all the tape, all material to sit there and go, look, guys, we've got to do it better right here. This is why you're not, as good as you think you are. This is why you have to focus on that to build those boys into a frenzy for this Alabama game. I think it's legitimately something to consider that Kirby played this game so well in Kentucky and leading up to this. He did it so well to set up this week of preparation going into this Alabama game to get those boys mentally right so that they don't believe the press clippings. They don't think, they're number one. It's almost advantageous for them to come in this position. And I think he's crafty enough to do something like that.
Yeah, but that's super crafty to win.
It is super crafty. I'm not saying that's
leaving a little bit too much margin.
I don't think it played the way he wanted to play out.
As far as
but I'm saying
that's like everyone else is playing checkers and you're playing 4D chess.
That's cutting it really, really close.
Yeah,
so.
I think he's creepy. I think he's crafty like that. I do.
See, and now the coach in the room is going to sit here and blow us out of the water in just 1 second. But before he does that, I want to say yes and no. No, I don't think. Obviously, he doesn't want it to be that close on the road at Kentucky. But the point in what you said that I do believe is that if you honestly think, regardless of how good Kentucky's defense is, if you honestly think that you outclass them, and not to be disrespectful, but if you outclass them in the roster, then if this is who we are, if we are lining up and smash mouth football, play action off of it, if that's our identity, coach, then we need to put that on tape, execute it in live game reps against a quality opponent, and just see how good we are, and then use that as teach tape. I totally buy that, right? We're going to go do what we do, and then we're going to teach off of it. So that part I buy. The part about somehow, just scheming it that way and having a master plan, I can't say. I don't know. Every Georgia fan would want to say their coach is that smart, but you certainly don't want to cut it that close. And the other point here, and this probably holds true for Alabama as well, by no means have they only been looking at Alabama for the last 2 weeks. They've been looking at Alabama since, the schedule came out. So whenever that was, March, February, whatever, they have been looking at Alabama because they know something that I've been talking about for months now. They know how big this game is, and they know what it means to the program, to the coach, and everything else. So, Coach, am I right, wrong, or are we both right, wrong? What do you think?
Hold on before you jump in there, Coach, because I'm near past sleep time now, and I'll forget this in like 30 seconds if I don't say it.
We're gonna have to get on the train to wrapping it up here. Just a minute too. So.
I remember watching an SEC story about on the SEC network or one of their shows about Saban and how he looked all season to one game, and that was the SEC championship game against Georgia. He had plotted for one entire game there. And I just know that if Saban was smart enough to do that with Kirby's tutelage under him, I think Kirby's absolutely smart enough to do that. So I do absolutely think that they could play it that way. So that's part of my rationale.
Okay. I'll try to make this brief. My feelings for the Kentucky game is we don't give Kentucky enough credit defensively of how good of a defense they, believe it or not, had, because we were using a benchmark of what they had done the prior week to South Carolina. And when we go play a team on the road like that, I really do think that there was a game plan to execute, as Randy said, and I believe this wholeheartedly. It was more of it wasn't as diverse as it really needed to be, but it's one of those things where, hey, we want to go out and do these 5 or 6 things very well, like run it in our sleep. And we didn't execute that in the first half. What we got the chance to see as the second half moved around, some of those things started happening. We didn't necessarily change the game plan or make these huge halftime adjustments. I think we just started executing to the game plan we had originally wanted to do against them. And unfortunately, it came down to, like I said, us just basically getting that one good drive that let us get it in the zone. And, that led us into the off week, which, like I said, we've kind of gotten this understanding now that I really want to be able to say that's the pivotal point about Saturday, because even though I think everybody can basically have this mentality of we played a chess game with Kentucky to lead into the Bama game, you don't do that. I mean, you want to win every ball game you play. I just think it was closer than it should have been due to the fact we didn't execute. But I do think that's the pivotal point I'm talking about Saturday with. We're either going to find out we are that team that we saw against Kentucky, or we are a team that's just heads and shoulders above anything that we could have expectation-wise, and that has to be met on Saturday. Yep. And I do think that's something that's very important for us as Georgia fans to sit back and be patient with and realize that there's going to be some good things going forward, offensively especially.
Just to put a button on Kentucky, when it was time to win the game, who had the ball in his hands? Carson Beck. Who dropped his stones and made a big play call? Mike Bobo. That tells you who they want to be. I think that's the story. I think when it came time to make a play, that's what had to happen. All right. We kind of just talked a whole bunch of Bulldogs over here, fellas. I feel like we filibustered.
Herb and I are just chilling here.
So we're gonna get some roll.
Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy JB checking in one time, representing Sports Talk with JB and Talking Bama, giving y'all my score prediction for the Bama Georgia game this Saturday night. You already know who I'm picking. Give me Bama 34-17. Yep, I said it. 34-17 Alabama this Saturday in T-Town, Saban Field, Brian Denny Stadium. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Yes, we needed some Bama love in there. We need some Bama.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go around real quick. and get everybody's picks. So, Coach, we'll start with you. One player to watch, cannot be one of the quarterbacks. We've given them enough love, and your score prediction. And we'll just go around and in with Raj.
Okay. Someone I know we're going to see a lot of. I want to see Trevor Etienne. I want to see what he does running the ball and pass catching out of the backfield. So hopefully he's somebody that's definitely going to be a difference maker in the game for us. I've already called. I really would love to see a reversal of last year's SEC championship game, but yet the Dogs come out 27-24. I don't really think it's going to be as high scoring as everybody thinks it is. I'm hearing all these scores up in the 30s, but I would love to see a 27-24. 24-21 type game. So I want to go ahead, since I called it this Tuesday with you guys, and stay on my pick at 27-24. Go Dogs.
Like it. What you got, Joe?
I think Oscar Delp's going to be the player that's going to show himself in this game. I think it'll be compliments to Carson in the scheme. I think Georgia is going to win, and I think his score is going to be 23-17.
All right. Well, you got after much teeth gnashing and all those other sorts of things, I finally landed in a place I'm comfortable with. I think this is the one where we're going to see that Dom Lovett is that dude that we heard about all spring and all summer. I think he's going to be the guy. If they're going to go to a guy, I think it's going to be Dom Lovett, and this is the game where that's going to show up. And my prediction, and I honestly didn't know this until yesterday, but I'm going with the Dogs. Give me 28-27. All the intangibles are going to make the difference in this game for Georgia. Hard fought till the end. 28-27, Georgia.
Raj, what you got?
All right, I'm going to give you two names. I think I'm going to go with Jam Miller at number one. I think if we can establish the run game early, that'll definitely help us with some of the keys to victory. Obviously, Milroe is probably going to get some runs in there. I think Jam is a faster out of him and Justice Haynes. Justice Haynes is a little bigger, more stocky, more of a ground and pound type game. But if Jam can get going early on, it'll definitely help us out. The other one, Herb's going to laugh at this, is Quavo. Josh Cuevas, our tight end. He's averaging
just like his name.
Hold on. He's averaging one reception per game, and I get that. I didn't say Kendrick Law because I've already said Kendrick Law like on our Tuesday podcast. I already mentioned him. So I'm going to go with Quavo because I think Ryan Williams is going to get out there. He's going to get physical. I don't know if Ryan Williams is going to have the same big game he's been having the previous 3 games, but Quavo's got some good hands on him. He should be able to get open. Look for him to have a touchdown. Our tight end, Josh Cuevas, a.k.a. Quavo. Score prediction, I am one of those Bama fans who was in the 30s. I mentioned it Tuesday night. I said 31-21, Bama.
All right. So we got to put you guys through the ringer a little bit before.
Wait, Herb.
Wait.
Sorry,
Herb?
My mic went out.
What happened?
No.
Come on.
Of course I'm picking Bama. And Raj, I don't care if we've already mentioned him. I've heard too much about him to not pick Kendrick Law as the breakout player. Like they've just been holding back some kind of package for him. Because I know this game is going to stress me out, I'm going to say Bama 24-21. And I just know in the middle of the fourth quarter, I'm just going to be sweating bullets. So at least I have an empty house, so there'll be nobody to watch me cry if things are going rough at any moment. So that is what I'm happy about. So
can we at least all agree, though? I said this on Tuesday. Can we at least all agree across the board, Georgia and Alabama fans alike, that we're not talking about one particular play from a flag that got thrown in the middle of second quarter or the third quarter that cost the team the game? I just want to see a good freaking football game between two powerhouses, and we're not leaving it to the refs or what. I just want to see execution at its highest level. Whoever doesn't turn the ball over the most, whoever executes, of course, offensively and plays flawless defense, a special teams play that motivates and causes the momentum to go that direction, and who is least penalized wins the ball game, because obviously, all of those things are being, put together. So I think we can all agree on that.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Coin flip game.
Yep. All right. Work, play, live, ditch. I got one for Coach. I got one for Randy, Rob, with Joe, and then I've got one last video. Yeah, Coach did not like this game. So for those new to the chat, we're giving you 4 names. You got one person you're going to work with.
He does look pressed over there. He's
sweating already. We didn't even ask him a question.
Yeah. All right. One person you work with, one person you live next door to, one person you hang out with on Friday nights, and one person when they call you, you send it to voicemail. All right, you ready, Coach?
No, I don't want to go first.
Sorry, Coach. All
right.
Brock Bowers, Stetson Bennett, Matthew Stafford, Ladd McConkey.
Oh, so it's work, ditch, take them to the bar, play, and live. Well,
you're not gonna play with Matt Stafford. He's got kids and a family and all that.
What were my
perfect person?
You got McConkey, Brock. You got McConkey, Bowers, and Stetson, and who else?
Bennett.
Bowers, Bennett, Stafford. Yeah, Matt Stafford and Ladd McConkey.
Stafford, I'm gonna ditch him, man. Stafford, he can go. I like Matthew Stafford. I think he's a hell of an athlete and a great quarterback for us, but he's in the older generation group. I tell you what, it'd be great. It'd be great to. I coach Ladd McConkey, so to be able to go out and have a beer with him, I want to play. Definitely Brock is the next door neighbor. I'd like to live with right by the side Brock Bowers, and then Stetson Bennett, definitely work with him because he would definitely have some stories to tell around the cooler, man. So Stetson work, Stafford ditch, live beside Brock, and play with Ladd.
Okay.
Wow.
That wasn't too painful, right?
You gave me some good ones. I had to write it down. I wanted to make sure I had it right this time.
All right, Randy.
I was looking for a pen. Yep.
Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Roquan Smith, Jordan Davis.
Okay, I'm definitely going to go play with Jordan Davis. That dude's a sports fan, digs Nirvana. I'm sure we could get a dance on somewhere. So me and Jordan Davis are going to go play. Work, let's see. Work, live, ditch. I'm going to have to ditch Nolan Smith.
It's rough out here in these streets.
Isn't that hard, man? It's hard to ditch them.
It is, but I get that out of the way. Pull the tooth. Okay, so who I have? Roquan and who?
Roquan
and Nolan. Who'd you just ditch?
You got Jalen Carter left.
Jalen Carter and Roquan. Okay, gotcha. And we are living next door, and we are working. Okay, so let me live next door to Jalen Carter. We can hang out. We might actually go to the gun range or something, pop off a few, let off a little steam. He seems like it'd be fun to barbecue. And that means I'm going to work with Roquan because he seems about the work. He seems to be about the work, and he takes it seriously. So there you go. Give me Roquan Smith.
Okay. Okay. Rod, you got the last one for Joe?
All right, Joe, you got the easy one. Your last one, same game, work, play, live, ditch. I'm going to give you 4 names. You let me know what you want to do.
All right.
All right. Coach Hayes.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Herb, Rodg, and good old Randy.
Work, play, live,
Good God.
What the hell kind of setup is this?
They did that to me last week.
Well, you're the new one here, Joe.
You're on the clock.
All right.
Joe, I give you permission. You can ditch me, man. You haven't known me as long as the rest of them.
Herb just threw this at me. I'm ditching Herb right out the gate, man.
Or no, Rod, he said Rod.
I didn't even read the question.
No, Raj set the question up, but Herb invited me into this mess, man. This is all on you, Herb. It's all on you. You get in the ditch. Wow. Me and my boy Raj finna go have a beer.
Let's do it. Only if you wear that suit. Only if you wear that suit.
I mean, I'm wearing the suit. Ain't no question.
Let's do it, Joe.
That means I got to work with Coach because I obviously am not the brightest crayon in the box here, so I gotta work with Coach. Somebody's got to lead me through it, which means I'm still living with Randy, and that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm just living with Randy anyway. So me and Roger having a beer. Herb's getting the limp elephant trunk, and yeah, there we go. Love you, Herb.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, I got to give the last video to one of our longest time watchers, listeners, behind the scenes kind of people. So we'll give that one, then we'll give everybody's final thoughts before we get out of here. All right.
Okay.
Hey, Herb and Rodg. So my prediction is 27-20, Bama.
Bama by 50. Roll Tide.
Yeah,
that was my favorite one. So I had to let Kat end it out for us.
Kat, we appreciate you.
That's great.
Final thoughts from anybody? Want to throw them out here before we jump off there, guys? It's been a pleasure, man. We appreciate having you on there. And everybody in the chat, I know we didn't get a chance to dive into it as much this time, but we appreciate you guys filling it up. Try to at least put your guys' thoughts out there, and we appreciate everybody being out there. So, Coach, we'll start with you and just kind of come around. Final thoughts. Oh, go ahead, Randy. I'm sorry. You look like you're chomping.
Well, all I was going to say was somebody's got to set the tone, boys. Set the tone. From the time you step on the field, set the tone. Let's go.
What you got for me, Coach?
Believe it or not, I have to tell you just a quick little story, but growing up, my grandfather was a dove hunter. He used to bird hunt all the time, and he was a diehard Bama fan. So I actually grew up before I fell in love with Georgia football. I guess you would call me a closet Bama fan, and I always enjoyed, the prestige of that program. And obviously turning into a Georgia fan as I got older and maybe make my own decisions. I've always thought highly of Bama's program, especially when Saban took over for it. So I have the utmost respect for a team that lives off culture and obviously has definitely established a dynasty over the years that they've been in establishment. But Georgia has to set the tone Saturday to change that role. And I think it's one of those things that if we do Saturday, I think that finally gets that breath of fresh air that we need to have as a program going forward. And I don't think it's Kalen DeBoer's ending. I don't think it's Alabama's ending, because we're in a new era of college football with 12-team playoff. But definitely for us, it is such a breath of fresh air to know that we can win on Saturday and have that monkey off our back and be able to move forward knowing that we did what we needed to do as a solid football team, as somebody that's contending for the national championship. So go Dogs.
Joe?
Good time. Appreciate you guys having me on the show here tonight. Well past my bedtime, but I stayed popping with you all night long. Love it.
We really appreciate it.
And I tell you what, if you after this game, if the opportunity exists for me to join you again, and for some reason Bama actually wins this ball game Saturday, I will show up wearing my best Alabama attire.
Oh wow!
The next time I'm on the show.
Socks don't count, Joe.
I'll have Raj call you though, since you're not going to take my calls though.
No, I'm not taking your call.
You already did, sir.
The new one in the group stepped to the table and laid down a little skin in the game. That's pretty impressive.
I like it.
That is pretty good.
I know we're signing off here, but one quick answer right around the room real quick. Who amongst us thinks these two teams play more than just the one time this season?
I do.
I agree.
There you go.
Yeah.
I agree. I just feel like we're the class of the league, and I think everybody knows it too. So, Raj, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important that Alabama gets off to a fresh start, a fast start. I'm sorry about that. So I'm hoping that we can score on our first possession. I just kind of give them a nice punch to the face early on. Other than that, one thing that I've been thinking about throughout the past 2 weeks was that if you're not a fan of college football, or for some reason you don't think the SEC has the best conference in the country, please watch this game Saturday night. This is going to be a very, very good game between two of the best teams in college football. Please watch the game.
There you go. Appreciate you guys. Like I said, appreciate you guys. It's past my bedtime too, Joe, and I stayed up for this. So man, I'll be sleeping about 5 minutes afterwards. So everyone, enjoy the game, drink responsibly, and Joe, I'll call you this weekend, man. We'll see if we can reconcile this whole thing. All right. Have a wonderful night, everybody in the chat. We appreciate you. Hope you're supporting everybody.
We appreciate everybody
here. Following on Twitter, subscribing on YouTube channels, man. And we appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have to do this again. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Appreciate y'all listening to the Herb and Rodg Podcast, and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.